in 10 years, you won't even remember their names, but you'll never forget the dreams you gave up because of them. Oh, I don't know about you. There's still kids' names I remember in middle school, elementary school even, because I got picked last on a recess for 2 teams in a dodgeball game one time, and 2 people were the captains and picked players one by one. And I'll never forget this because it was 2 boys in the class, and they went one by one and started picking all of the boys in the class. And this is a co-ed class of maybe 30 of us kids, right? 15 boys, 15 girls. And they go around, pick one by one all the boys. And then I'm the last boy standing in the class. And I remember feeling really sad and down because I was about to be the last boy picked. And then something happened. The next person who chose, they picked a girl over me. And I thought to myself, oh my gosh, the humiliation, the embarrassment. Imagine being in recess in the playground and they're picking boys and then all of a sudden they skip you. And then they pick the next girl and the next girl and the next girl, all the way to the last 2 people. It's me and, a tiny little girl that's like the worst athlete in the school, and me. And I remember just feeling humiliated standing there thinking, please pick me, right? Just like, I'm already humiliated. And then they pick the girl last. And they don't even pick me. I just go to the next person who had the last pick. So you didn't even call my name. That's how insignificant I was in 3rd grade. That's how unathletic, that's how insignificant, that's how, forgotten I was at this moment. And I remember just being so humiliated. I was so humiliated. And for whatever reason, there was like a fire that lit up in me. I'll admit I was angry, but it was a fire. And I was just like, I will never be picked last again. Never. And that turned into just thinking, how can I be useful? How can I be valuable? How can I be useful? How can I add more value? And if I get picked last in life in something, like, it's not a big deal because I'm good with me now. But at that moment, it forged like a fire within me to say, oh, this is how people see me, but maybe it's actually how I see myself. And if I start to just become more confident with me, more good with me, less insecure, by developing skills, by having courage, then if people pick me or don't pick me, I'm going to be good with me because I pick myself, because I never picked me back then either. So I love this. In 10 years, you won't even remember their names, but you'll never forget the dreams you gave up on because of them. And thankfully, I didn't give up on my dreams. Thankfully, I didn't say, I'm a nobody and no one loves me and the why me. And I'm just going to give up in life and just play small and stay stuck. I put myself out there constantly, and I faced the embarrassment and I faced the humiliation in all areas of life. And that developed character, courage, skill sets, competence in my life. But if I allowed those people to make me play small, then I wouldn't be here where I'm at today. So it's a good reminder. In 10 years, you won't even remember their names, but you'll never forget the dreams you gave up on because of them. Now, I went out like crazy in that dodgeball game. I was like, grab the ball first. I was just like throwing it at every kid. I got every kid out in that game. I was like, I'm going to prove you wrong, right? Which also isn't a good thing. It's not a good thing to prove people wrong. It's always better to prove yourself right and prove your highest self right. So you can go far by trying to prove people wrong. And it gave me a lot of fuel. I was like, I'm going to show these kids, blah, 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 blah. But it never feels good in the end when you're doing something out of anger, out of resentment, out of frustration, of proving people wrong. So you always want to learn how to prove your higher self right. And how can you lean into that? And there was a speech by Wayne Brady that we actually had Wayne Brady on the show. He is such a talented, gifted performer, dancer, singer, comedian. Whose line is it anyways? And he came on the show and we talked about his life. And he gave a speech a few years ago. Maybe we'll have a link to this and I'll show you this speech. We'll clip it up here. Where he gave us an award speech for something. And at the end, he's like calling out 1 or 2 guys from like middle school or high school who always doubted him. And he was like, look at me now, that type of thing. And there's nothing wrong with that. But when you're constantly rooted on proving people wrong, it will get you far. It drove him to be the most talented person that he is. I mean, he's incredible. But if it's something that you haven't healed yet, then we're still creating something from a pain rather than from purpose. And it doesn't mean you're bad and wrong. It doesn't mean there's, something wrong with you. It's just when you create from a pain, you'll never be able to heal from that pain if that's the core of what you're creating from. When you create from purpose, you can create with a more sustainable energy. And when you achieve that success, you don't need to say, I remember what you made fun of me back in the day. I remember this. You need to say, I'm grateful that I lived up to what my greatest potential could be. And thank you for everyone that encouraged me, everyone that supported. Even the people that didn't encourage me, thank you. Thank you to everyone for giving me that encouragement and allowing me to step into where I'm at today. So it's just something to reflect on in your life, but I think it's powerful. Use the mirror test. Will this matter in 30 years? If one person heals because of this, then it's worth it. A lot of us say, gosh, I want to make a piece of content. How do I get thousands or hundreds of thousands or millions of people to watch this video or read this book or read this article? And a lot of times, I remember when I wrote this book, I just said, I don't care if millions of people buy the book, tens of thousands, hundreds, or one. If this helps one person heal, if this helps one person overcome pain, if it helps them live a better life and has a ripple effect in a positive way in their world, it was worth it. Now, do I want it to reach millions of lives? Yes. But if one person heals because of this, it's worth it. So I want you to ask yourself a question. Would this still matter if no one clapped? If no one cheered? If no one commented? If no one celebrated you? Would this still matter? Take a few minutes and realign your goals with what internally fulfills you. Not just what gets external validation, but what internally gives you a sense of peace. And writing this book and all my other books, writing this gave me a sense of peace, something that I can hold on to, I can open up at any moment and look at and be like, wow, I'm so glad I wrote this, because I really wrote this for the younger version of me. The version of me that was insecure, that was afraid, that was allowing external opinions to dictate my process. And I wrote this for the younger version of myself that really needed this back in the day. When I was 16, when I was 21, 28, 33, I needed this book. I needed the wisdom in this book. And it's part of the reason why I went out and launched the School of Greatness 12 and a half years ago, because I wanted to have the skills, the knowledge, and the resources that school didn't teach me. And it doesn't mean I didn't have great teachers and great coaches. I did. But the system didn't teach me the skills of life. And that's why I said, I'm going to create a different type of school, a school of greatness. And I'm so grateful that you are here today, a part of this new school, this upgraded school of thinking, of using your heart, of healing, of growth, of service, not just about success and accomplishment and achievement. All those things are fun and cool. I've got massive dreams. I'm trying to go to the Olympics, my friend. I'm trying to do incredible things in the world. But it doesn't mean I have to accomplish those things in order to feel good about me. I feel good in the process. And it doesn't matter if certain people criticize me, tell me I'm crazy, whatever it might be. Use the mirror test. Will this matter in 10 years? Again, I hope this saved you 30 plus years of time that you don't have to waste. I hope this gave you a sense of structure to support you in finding your unique purpose, because you were born to live on intention, in purpose, with a meaningful mission, and on service. I hope you enjoyed this video and episode. Leave a comment below of your biggest takeaway. Like this video right now. Click subscribe to this channel so you can get updated with more of the latest and greatest from the School of Greatness interview series. And if you want more solos like this one from me, then comment below more solos, please, because we're planning to do more if that's what you want. Thank you for being here. I'm grateful for you, and I can't wait to see you in the next video. Thank you for watching this video. If you want more inspiring clips like this, make sure to click right here to subscribe and click right here to watch that next video that is specific to support you in your life.